Hi, this is Kona, and I'm going to show you how to use the regrade feature. So the first thing you need to do is to go into one of your quizzes and click the edit button. Now, when you go into the quiz, you need to make sure the students have already started taking the quiz. So you should get this green. Keep in mind some students have already taken or started taking the quiz, or students have either already taken or started taking blah blah. So if you don't see those two things, you aren't going to be able to regrade because there's nothing to regrade. The students haven't started taking it yet. But as long as you've got those, you've got the green light to keep going. So the next thing you do is click into this questions tab right here. So you've got settings and questions, click on the questions tab. So in order for you to regrade, you have to actually have your questions show up under this questions tab. So see how these questions are all just showing up right here? Compare that to this group where it says questions will be pulled from the bank, imported questions. If you see something like that where the questions aren't in that group, they're just saying that there's a link to the questions, you cannot regrade. So if your questions don't actually show up on the page like they do right here, but rather they are linked like this or pulled, you cannot regrade. So that is one caveat. Can't regrade if it's actually pulling from a question bank. As long as the questions show up like they are right here on this page, even if they're in a group, you can regrade. So that's the first caveat. So if your questions are showing up, the next step is to find the question you need to regrade. You can show your question details or just find whatever question it is. And I'm going to go ahead and pick question number 4. And what you next want to do is click the pencil icon, which if you kind of hover over a question, the little edit pencil will pop in. Go ahead and click that edit pencil. Now at first you'll notice there is no regrade option. That's because the regrade option does not automatically show up unless you try to change something on a question. So as soon as I try to change this answer from true to false, there we go, my regrade options pop in. So you can go ahead, change your answer, change this to correct, and I'll change this one to incorrect, just to keep it as the right answer. You can change whatever you need in the question text, but go ahead and make your changes. And then what you need to do is select your regrade option. One other quick caveat though as well is that this regrade option only works on 4 different types of questions. So it only works on multiple choice, true false, multiple answers, and multiple drop-down questions. So if you're using fill in the blank or anything, fill in multiple blanks, matching, anything like that, you cannot use the regrade option. So second caveat, can't use it on certain types of questions. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to go ahead and only award points for the correct answer. Some student scores may be reduced. I'm going to go ahead and make that selection. The next thing you need to do is make sure you update the question. You would then want to save, so very important, make sure you save it. And then once it's saved, you also need to make sure you republish. If you don't republish, you're not going to lock these changes in. So then you make sure you republish. Once it's done republishing, you're pretty much good to go, and everything should be good for your students. The next video will show what your students see when you regrade.